came this close. This freaking close to Star Wars being the first movie I ever went and saw. That's right. Imagine little 6-year-old Jeff back in 1977 going along not knowing what cultural phenomenon has just come along. He's just going about his merry business. His father looks in the paper and goes, Star Wars. That looks like something that might be interesting to a young lad. I'll take Jeff. And my mom, being the responsible parent that she is, goes, maybe you should go see it first, see if it's appropriate for children, and then we'll take him to see it. In the meantime, we'll go see Benji. That's right, Benji. Thanks to responsible parenting, Benji was my first movie, Star Wars was my second. My mom also gave me a good childhood and great education. Thanks a lot, responsible parenting! And I will never forget being at home in the kitchen after Benji, sitting there waiting for my parents to come home. My brother comes racing into the house, and my dad comes in with a stare on his face like he had just seen the face of God. He just was like mesmerized, and my mom was like, "Oh, was it good?" And he's like, "Yes." And he said, "We have to take Jeff to see it. Not we should, not he'll like it." He said, "We have to take him to see it," because it was such a phenomenon. I mean, people today, of course, Star Wars is everywhere, people love it, you know, all that sort of thing. And by the way, yes, my mom was doing the right thing. It is responsible parenting, and I would do the same thing, or I would hope I would do the same thing. But it is one of those things where it's like, this was such a cultural phenomenon. You look back and you go, oh, yeah, I mean, I did go and see it, and I was there in the original theater, and it's like so fascinating to look back now and go, wow, I was there when this thing actually started, you know. It's just, it was almost my very first movie. My second movie I ever went to see. Anyway, so of course, grew up with Star Wars. I actually became a storyteller because partly because of Dungeons & Dragons, which I get to in a different episode, but also because, and so therefore role-playing games, but also because of the Star Wars figures that came out, the little action figures. I started taking those, putting them together, creating stories, very much like I'm doing now in RPG Storytime. So, only appropriate that one of the RPG Storytimes is Star Wars, Age of Rebellion. Yes, they have 3 of these out. You can do any of the types of things where you are either in the Rebellion, or you are a smuggler, or you are like a Jedi. It's supposed to be the story of a rebellion, so we figured this was appropriate. So we're going to be starting with that one, and continuing on, and hopefully Chewbacca can help us out a little bit.